ESPN's Adam Schefter just made a massive connection between Jalen Carter and the Philadelphia Eagles and why there's one Eagle in particular who can keep Jalen Carter in line. Also, Ndamukong Suh wants to return for one more year. Can Philadelphia bring him back for some depth, I guess? And Bijan Robinson, he's working out with Dallas Cowboys. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on a Thursday. It's an interesting day. There's a very fascinating interview from ESPN's Adam Schefter on 97.5 The Fanatic with John Kincaid, where he kind of hints about something that we haven't really thought about, I would say, in terms of Jalen Carter, not only to other NFL teams, but more specifically to Philadelphia. Yahoo Sports has this whole write-up. It comes via NBC Sports, and then via the 97.5 Fanatic interview. Let's go ahead and take a look. So, Schefter, quote, joined 97.5 The Fanatics, the John Kincaid Show this week, talk about the Eagles and the NFL Draft, and the most intriguing stuff he mentioned during his hit pertaining to the Eagles and Carter. Here's what Schefter is seeing and thinking and about the possibility. Quote, when you talk to people around that Georgia program, they say that one guy, maybe the one guy, that kept Jalen Carter really in line was Jordan Davis. When he was around Jordan Davis, he was on some of his best behavior. Philly would have that advantage, bringing Carter to Philly and having Jordan Davis as a guy that could help out there. He's the guy in this year's draft, outside of the quarterback, is really fascinated and intrigued to see what happens to this all-world talent and who is the one that turns in to pick on him. I'll say this. I think there's a decent chance the Eagles are the team that has that decision to make here, end quote. That is fascinating to me. That might be the biggest, not only Jordan Davis, but Jalen Carter news we've gotten this entire draft process. We all know that that Jalen Carter has had some off-the-field issues. Now, those off-the-field issues seem to stem, obviously, from driving fast, being involved, or not really involved with the whole death of the other person in the car. He wasn't in that car, but all the allegations revolve around him making bad decisions. Let's just leave it at that. You can read it more on his case, obviously, online, but it's all stems around bad decisions. However, this would tell you it's not just one bad decision. It could be multiple bad decisions that have happened over the past couple of seasons with Jalen Carter. And once Jordan Davis left for Philadelphia, those seem to maybe compound. Now, this is all allegations. We have absolutely no idea if this is true or not, but this is the kind of investigating that teams do. They call the Georgia program. They talk to not just Kirby Smart. They talk to the strength coach. They talk to the head athletic trainer. They talk to teammates. They talk to people who worked in the cafeteria. They are trying to figure out what the deal is with Jalen Carter. And this tells me that he found out, Adam Schefter found out that he was on much better behavior when Jordan Davis was there. So this would then scare, I would think, a lot of other teams away from Jalen Carter and might go ahead and produce the fall that Carter would need to have in order to end up with Philadelphia at 10. We talked about this yesterday on our Wednesday Link Live with Josh Davis and myself of the Philly Special Show. I basically mentioned that, Seattle at 5 makes a lot of sense. Detroit at 6 makes a lot of sense. There are teams ahead of Philly at 10 that would be very interested in Carter if he's the right fit. But if this is the news that no one's talking about regarding Jalen Carter is that he's always on his best behavior when he's with Jordan Davis, then maybe the fall happens. Now, I see what you're commenting. Thomas, why would we want somebody who is not on his best behavior unless he has a specific person playing alongside next to him? And that is a very fair point. I can't argue with that point, although my argument would be the hope is Carter would turn into a little more of a grown-up, it seems, when he got not only alongside Jordan Davis, but maybe in an NFL locker room when he's alongside other very talented people who are more talented and more veteran and more, I guess, higher leadership than Jordan Davis, in a Fletcher Cox, in a Milton Williams, in a Brandon Graham, in the Eagles' basically entire defensive staff. Like, this seems something like he should be able to go ahead and grow up and grow out of. So that's the concern. I mean, this is really why teams might pass on Jalen Carter if he truly is somewhat of an immature football player and someone who can't figure it out off the football field. And you've seen people like this fall in previous drafts. Will Carter fall? Will he turn out to be a good player, an immature player? Who knows? But Adam Schefter is right. He's probably the most fascinating person outside of the quarterbacks in this year's draft that a lot of people don't know where he is going to go. With this news being kind of elevated, would you still take Jalen Carter? I think I still would. I would trust the Eagles and Howie Roseman to do their due diligence and understand. I'm sure they're speaking to Jordan Davis on this as well. Understand what's going on. Figure it out. Would you still take him? Let me know down below right now. Also, thumbs up for the draft being 2 weeks away. We're finally 2 weeks away from April 27th. Goodness gracious, it is taking so long for us to get to the draft, but we're almost there. Thumbs up for that. Okay, and Ndamukong Suh was on the Rich Eisen show, and he was asked many questions. He had a really good answer regarding his thoughts on Jalen Hurts and why Hurts is a great leader, but he was asked about coming back to not only the Eagles, but to the National Football League in general, and he said this, quote, all options are on the table. It's got to be honestly the right situation. I'll say this, all options are on the table. You're going to say that he almost signed with the 49ers. Quote, 49ers wanted me to come. I wanted to go to that team because they have one of my favorite defensive line coaches, but it wasn't the right situation at the end of the day. Philly was able to bring back defensive tackle Fletcher Cox with general manager Howie Roseman at the helm. That isn't considered enough. Suh's leadership would be critical as 2022 first-round draft pick Jordan Davis looks to take on a role as a starter next year, end quote. And so people have asked me in the comment section, what about bringing back Linval Joseph or Ndamukong Suh? Either of those two players are people that would come in after training camp. Ndamukong Suh has no interest in going to a full training camp. Same with Linval Joseph. You get to a certain age, and you kind of just shrug and go, hey, if they want me, they'll take me halfway through the year, just like the Eagles did this past season. I don't think you need him to be kind of the leader to Jordan Davis. I think Fletcher Cox was brought back in part to do just that, but I'm totally fine with bringing back Ndamukong Suh on a fair, very cheap veteran minimum contract if he does want one more run at it and another chance to get another ring on his finger. Not necessarily going to make a lot of impact on Philadelphia. He didn't do much for the Eagles this past year, but rotationally did do a fine job plugging holes on the defensive line, as D tackles are basically meant to do. Okay, final story here comes via my friend RJ Ochoa. Interviewed him on the show before, and here we go. Micah Parsons working out with, oh no, Bijan Robinson. You see the tweet, RJ Ochoa says, Dallas Cowboys pass rusher Micah Parsons working out with University of Texas running back Bijan Robinson. And you see them here doing their little medicine ball throws, probably what that is. It's a, one of those virtual, what's this called? It's a boomerang. That's right, on Instagram, where it kind of goes back and forth here. A lot of people on the live show yesterday were saying, Thomas, did you see this? Oh my gosh, does this mean the Cowboys want Bijan Robinson? No, it doesn't. It doesn't guarantee that. Now, the Cowboys could still want Bijan Robinson just based on the fact that they need a running back, and Bijan Robinson's a good one, and so you can connect the dots there. But just because these two are working out doesn't mean technically anything. Didn't Jalen Hurts work out with C.J. Stroud last week? Are the Eagles taking C.J. Stroud? No. NFL players like working out with future NFL players, especially star NFL players like a C.J. Stroud, or for this instance, Bijan Robinson. Plus, if you don't live in Texas, like I did and went to college at Baylor, these two places are right next to each other. Micah in Dallas, Bijan in Austin. I mean, it's like a 3-hour drive. You go through Waco, past Baylor University, north on 35, and you'll eventually get to Dallas. So this could very simply be, Micah reaches out, Bijan, hey, working out today, you want to work out with me? Sure, come on down. That's basically it. It's not like the Cowboys called Micah Parsons and said, Micah, we need you to go work out with Bijan Robinson, become his best friend because we're going to draft him. Stop. It's ridiculous. This is not a big deal at all. Bijan Robinson would go to any football team in the National Football League. He's not going to say, I want to be a Cowboy or I want to be an Eagle. He'll go to whoever takes him. Whenever it takes him, we'll get the benefits of having a very, very good running back. I think the Cowboy fans' hope is the Eagles don't take him, and the Eagles fans' hope is the Cowboys don't take him, and so maybe neither will, or one will, or we will have to wait and see. Do you think this matters at all? Bijan working out with Micah Parsons? Micah Parsons hinted that he, obviously coming over from kind of, the Philadelphia area, probably would have made Eagle in the future. Maybe you're kind of looking at two future Eagles when Micah Parsons gets done being a Cowboy. I doubt it, but still, there's always a possibility. Okay, plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks as we get closer and closer to the NFL draft. Very curious on your Jalen Carter thoughts in the comment section. Going to be reading those as I always do. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.